Good evening, 7 o'clock. I'd like to call the Satsuma City Council to order. I'd like to start our meeting by asking everybody to practice the social distancing to the best of their ability. We've tried to keep everybody spread out. We've got masks outside, hand sanitizer everywhere. So we're trying to practice the best that we can, social distancing here. So probably by the next meeting, we're going to try to remove a few of these chairs again and all like we were before and make it where we're a little more spread out. But thank all of you for coming tonight. We start our meetings, all of our meetings with prayer and followed by the pledge. So tonight, we're going to ask Councilmember Jason Skelton here to lead us in prayer. And then, so if you would, stand and then remain standing for the pledge.
Let us pray. Dear God, we thank you for today, Lord. We just ask that you watch over us and guide us as we handle business of the city. Lord, we ask that you just be with those who've lost loved ones this week. God, just put your hand around them and comfort them as only you can. Lord, we ask that you watch over and guide our first responders and keep them safe. And we ask that you just continue to lead, guide, and direct all of us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jason. Heather, can you give us a roll call, please?
Councilmember Little.
Present.
Councilmember Butler.
Present.
Councilmember Skelton.
Here.
Councilmember Reese.
Present.
Councilmember Phillips.
Here.
Mayor Barlow.
Here. Please let the record reflect that all members and department heads are present for the meeting. Moving on to number 5, we don't have any special guests tonight. Or number 4, approval of the minutes. I'm sorry, Jason, you helped me out. We discussed them in pre-council, but is there a motion to approve the minutes from our regular meeting on July the 20th?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Skelton, seconded by Mr. Little to approve the minutes as distributed from the prior July 20th meeting. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Let it show that we have passed the minutes. Moving on now to number 5. We have no recognitions tonight in the House. I don't think anyone else has come in. Number 6, our visitors. We got a couple of new people with us tonight, and we don't have all our meetings, so thank those of you for coming tonight, and at this time we will open the floor for discussion. If anybody has any questions or comments, if they would, just please keep them brief since it's not anything listed on the agenda. But is there anyone that would like to come before the council tonight? See Brother Stephen, got you here tonight. Mr. Dan, of course we always have our faithful attenders here, and Mr. Jack and his wife, Miss Shirley, and of course those in the back too, so we appreciate all of you coming. All right, with no visitors, we're moving on rather rapidly tonight. It's a quick meeting. Reports and announcements from the mayor and council. I went over a few things in our pre-council meeting tonight just for the record tonight and for the live streaming on those who watch our meetings and try to keep up with what's going on in our community. Sickness, the COVID, has really been a real topic here around the city. Our department head meetings, we've asked that all of our employees try to practice as much social distancing as possible. We've tried to make sure that at all of our buildings, the parks and everything, that precautions are being taken, that we have the hand sanitizer, we have availability of masks, and all to try to help promote the people's awareness of the COVID and what we're facing. We've also had a couple of our longtime citizens, Ms. Thompson and Mr. Warren. Both have passed away, both longtime citizens. Mr. Warren for, I know, 50 years he's been here. So if y'all see anybody in their families, give their sympathy to that, for them and their loss. Also, in our department head meetings, we've been continuing to discuss making sure that every department is prepared for any of these bad weather that we're having. These torrential rains in the afternoons has really stretched our public works pretty thin, trying to clean the ditches and keeping up. I think they're doing a good job, but some of the downpours like we had yesterday is just going to be impossible for us to prevent water everywhere. So we are aware of that. We do have ditch cleaning. I'm sure that Mr. Phillips is going to tell you and list out some of those projects that we've worked on in the last couple of weeks, but they have been making an effort. But this is a hard time of the year to try to make real progress in some of those areas. As I've told y'all, most of you know that we have been without a building inspector for quite some time. This has been a difficult position to fill. I never really thought it would be that hard to fill that position, but we have sent the list back that we had, and we've requested another list, and hopefully it will contain the applicants that we feel like would be a good fit for our city. Also, the assistant city clerk position is closing tomorrow, so hopefully by the next council meeting we'll have a list there that may allow us to start some interviewing in that process to identify who may be a good candidate. I told you I would try to have some information for the school reference striping of Baker Road. We did not get those bids in tonight. We will try to have that later. Showed y'all the senior report that Trish and Edith have been putting together. I think that people would be really surprised about the amount of senior trips and meals that we're delivering every month. So that's certainly a good program. I told y'all in pre-council regarding the South Alabama Regional Planning, the CRISA money that we're hoping will be available very soon. I will keep y'all posted on that. I told you there was a little glitch in the engineering, but we're hoping that we can have that worked out in the real near future. Also, Mr. Brian has got some residents that we have had complaints on from neighbors where people have just really abandoned houses, let them grow up. The yards deteriorating is kind of taken away from others in the area. He is trying to compile a list, and we hope that by the September council meeting that we're going to be asking y'all to take action on some of these properties. So if you have anything that's that you have specifically that you've been getting complaints on, please forward that to us or shoot me or Tom an email so we can compile and get the ones, because I feel like the structures we're talking about, I'm sure we all getting complaints on the same ones. So maybe we can start getting some action taken on those. And that's really all I have tonight that's not going to be covered by one of you that we have in our regular order. So with that being said, I'm going to move on to Councilman Little and Public Services.
No, Mayor, you talked about the inspector list. Are we putting that back out there for inspector one, or are we staying with two?
Two.
We staying with two? Okay.
I think that's just going to get us a better applicant, somebody that's well versed. You know, the one, I just feel like we'd be spending so much time trying to get them up to speed. So
That's fine. I wanted to mention also just our public, or our senior services. We have an averaging 10 to 15 people every Tuesday and Thursday, which is, a good number. We'd like to get that number up, but they are having a good time. Also, it's worth mentioning, last month, we delivered, the Meals on Wheels program delivered almost 900 meals. So that's very encouraging that we're able to do that. And we sent out, our transportation program. We made 24 different appointments that we had. So there's a good many people that needs, the needs there. And we're glad to be able to take care of those needs. Also, I just want to take just a minute, and I guess I just want to throw a thank you out there, I guess what I'm saying, but to our city employees, I know the police department, fire department, public works, just about everybody that's involved that works outside. I know, this time of the year and the next couple of months, the heat brings a different element into the game. And I just want to tell them that I appreciate, what they do, everybody that's out in the heat. So, thank you. That's all.
You're right, and Councilman Little, like you were saying, that heat is definitely a factor. Also, you also touched on the seniors that need rides to the drugstore. We got some for the doctor's visits or dialysis. If somebody is in need of transportation, if they would call the city hall up here and ask for Trish or Edith, and we will certainly try to work you in so that we can make arrangements for you to make those appointments. But thank you, Randy. Moving on to public safety, Mr. Butler.
Yep. This is for the report for the fire department. This is for the calls of July for the month. We got these calls, we got MS, we got 65 calls for the fire, we got 36 calls, and for a total of 101 total of calls. And we got total on 6 calls for the mutual aid. So also, I got a check for $1,000 for the Porch Creek Indians. And he's got a check with that, $1,000. So I appreciate with that too. Also, I had a check of $15,685.72 for the Mobile County Association for the Volunteer Department. So that'll help too. So other than that, I got the department and the policemen. We got, for the month of July, we got 483 service calls. The citations, we got 175. Accidents, we got 9. 2 of them was for fatter ladies where they died.
We had 2 fatality accidents.
Yep, we had 2 of those. And then for the felony arrest, we got 3 of those. And the misdemeanor, we got 43 for that. For a total, we got, put them all together, 483 calls. So that's, that's a whole bunch, when you think about that. And also, I've been talking about this. The old Tahoe is 2011. It's old. The clutch is slipping. So in the state bid, we found a 2021 Tahoe. The amount is $34,500. This is for the my drug files. This is only for drug fund. The city of Satsuma is no in the budget. The fund can only be used for training and equipment for the police department. And currently, we have $96,918.40. So we've got some more waiting, between 8,000 and 10,000 more coming pretty soon. So I'm gonna make a motion that we purchase a 2021 Tahoe for the amount of $34,500. And I want to know again, this is for the drug fund. It is not to the budget for the city.
Second.
This ain't on the agenda,
Oh, sorry.
so,
My question is, Mr. Butler, I'm not against buying any police equipment, but we bought 5 vehicles in 7 months. My last tour on the council, we bought 5 vehicles in 4 years.
And you need to remember, that's for the drugs fund.
I
It's
think we need
only
to bring it up for
these.
discussion. I mean, we're trying to buy other equipments too, and we just discussed to sit down and prioritize equipment. And that money can also be used to pay labor and other things like that. Is it a need or a want to? You know, that's my
Oh, it's a
question.
need.
Well, we ain't even
So,
discussed it.
Jay,
It
do we
hadn't even
make
been
a
up for
motion?
discussion,
Is it legal?
you know?
Hadn't been second, but it's not on the agenda.
it's not on the agenda.
It is on the
I
agenda.
did.
Reese seconded it, so it,
You know?
I made a motion.
Well,
Is that right, Jay?
Made a motion, but it wasn't an agenda item.
So, you didn't discuss this in pre-council, Mike, at all.
No, I talked with you in 2 weeks, and you said you didn't want to do it.
so you decided to bring it up
I
now and
need to talk.
just force the issue?
And the city and the departments, we don't have the city for this. It's for the drug fund. It's the only thing we can do.
You're not gonna show up here at a council meeting when we had a pre-council meeting at 6 o'clock. I asked, is anything else gonna be on there?
I told you then.
You said, nothing I'm going to
No,
discuss.
I told you I'll talk with you then.
So you're saying you deliberately didn't talk about it in pre-council? Was this?
No, I
Then
just
why
said
didn't you
what I was gonna
discuss
do
it?
it.
Why didn't you
What-
discuss it in
hey.
pre-council?
Jay, do it make a motion or not?
I think it needs to be on the agenda.
It's not on the agenda and it
All
wasn't
right,
discussed.
On the month, the next month of the next council meeting, I want it on the agenda. Is that right? Okay.
I think I approved the agenda. Would you like to talk with me about putting something on the
I
agenda?
can make a
And would you
motion,
like to
and I've already
discuss it
put
at
on the
pre-council?
agenda. You know, I don't know what your problem with this, Mayor.
You didn't discuss it at pre-council. We've sat right here, we've told one man.
You know, I've tried
we
to
can't.
tell you before that we was gonna get this Tahoe, and you wouldn't even say, he wouldn't say anything. You told me, no, I don't want it. And I said, because it's not the budget for the city of Satsuma. We've got the drug fund. It's only for, the policemen, cars, the dogs, equipments, and training. That's all we can do. It don't matter. If you want weed eaters, or whatever, I can't do that.
Big difference between $100 weed eater, Mike, and
It don't matter. I'm trying to tell you.
Don't tell
I
me
can't
nothing. You
use
asked
it.
me.
I can't use but one thing. Is that right?
It can be also
Right.
used for payroll.
So I don't know I don't know what the problem with it.
Problem is, you done bought 5 vehicles in 7 months. That's the problem with me. It ain't the problem with buying the Tahoe.
You know, I just told you this Tahoe is a 2011. So why
Why didn't you buy
Why
one of
can't
them
we
other
buy
5
it?
vehicles?
no? Why can't we buy it?
You know,
Because this is for that.
you should have looked at that when you was buying these other vehicles.
Don't matter about it.
Yeah, it does.
No, it don't.
Well, it's gonna take a vote to get it, Mike, and you ain't getting mine.
Well, I don't care what you vote. You don't.
You ain't getting mine.
Well, this is a
Said
good
I
time.
make on the agenda, didn't you say, Jay?
Needs to be on the agenda. You can
Okay, we'll
set the
put it.
Agenda for next.
On the next one then. I think it's gonna be the 8th.
Well, let's go ahead and discuss this too. If somebody wants to buy something that's going to cost a lot of money, like $20,000 or $30,000, don't you think we need to discuss it? Perhaps at a workshop, but if not there, at least at a pre-council meeting.
Because I tried to talk with you and you said no. And I was thinking, why? You know, we got the other cars and I got those. It was fine. And now I'm looking for a Tahoe for the dog. It's a canine.
If anybody wants to put something on the agenda that's going to be a high dollar item, it needs to be discussed where everybody up here is aware of what we're doing and how we can pay for it. So, you know, Mr. Butler, with all respect, I know you're chairman of that, but I'm the mayor, I'm responsible for the
Yeah, I know
bottom
you are.
line. You know, and we sit here and you say you don't even bring it up, and then you bring it up at council where there's been no discussion?
I
Is that-
tried to talk with you.
When do you want to talk to me? When would you like for
2
us to meet?
months ago.
2 months
I saw
ago.
with the chief, he was there. We talked pre-council meeting.
The time for this.
2 months ago, Mr. Butler?
2 weeks,
Oh,
2
well.
weeks. Yeah.
You said 2 months ago, but you meant the
Well,
last
2
council
weeks.
meeting.
2 weeks.
And I asked if we could just hold off to the next budget year since we'd already
No, you said
bought.
October, and I
Hey,
told him.
it's the next budget
guys,
year.
can we move
In
on with the
October.
meeting, please? We have a
Next
meeting to
physical year,
conduct.
we can discuss
You know,
it.
We don't need to be on show for everybody to see
I
this.
think it needs to be for everybody to see.
yeah,
Right, and I
Not
think
behind
that I'm.
put on everything with it, yeah.
Okay, so,
Oh, you
It
want to
was a
argue?
discussion.
Okay, feel free.
thank you. I will want anybody that's going to bring it up. This is something that costs a lot of money for it to be discussed.
Put it in the agenda the next time.
Do you have anything else you want to discuss, Mr. Butler?
Oh, no.
Moving on, Mr. Skillen?
I think I'm gonna let my little $3,500 hold off till next meeting. But, this would be for the, budget module that we have access to in our, city software. We can table this for now, which is not on the agenda item, but I'll pass out, I'll make you a copy of it and get it to you so we can talk about it Tuesday night at our work session. And speaking of that, I'm hoping to have some revenue numbers for us to work with by next Tuesday. And at that point, we'll know, have an idea of what we'll be looking like, hopefully. But until then, that's all I have, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Jason. Moving on, Ms. Reese?
The next municipal association meeting is going to be on Thursday, August 19th. Citronelle will be the host this month. That's at 7 p.m. I'm sure invites will be going out soon. Also, thank you to Tom Breon and TJ for their help on Saturday as they volunteered at the Bark Park, putting up some of the fence. So thanks to them. The waste stations and can liners have been ordered for the dog park, and the rules and regulations are being evaluated. And Jay mentioned that we need to put it into an ordinance, so we will do that in the next meeting.
Yeah, I think we can do it by resolution, but
I'm sorry, resolution. I wrote the wrong word. Okay. So that's moving right along slowly but surely. We're also still waiting on the grant information for the recycled tire program that would be the surface of the dog park. Also, youth football and cheerleading, the registration is closed. They are at capacity, so that's good, a good turnout for the community. Practice did start yesterday, but I think it was canceled due to the rain. So practice is starting this week. And if you're over at Lions Park, take a look at the new sign that the Lions Club and the Danzy family purchased and put up. It looks really good, and we appreciate them for that. That is all I have until later. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to Public Works, Mr. Phillips.
Mayor, I'd like to also, behind Mr. Little, commend the Public Works Department for the last 2 weeks for the work they've done. It's been a lot of work done. When it finally quit raining, you could see something, and I seen a lot of grass being cut. It's kind of impressive to see 3 mowers going down the road at the same time. You know, it seemed like they got a lot done, but we were able to do all the side cutting down Baker Road and over to Viaduct, which was in desperate need. A lot of ditches sprayed, mowing, weed eating, and filling the potholes. So, like I say, it was a lot of work, and I'd like to commend them for that. Also, you know, I reckon we'll wait for the items of discussion to talk about the mini excavator. And, or we can do it now, whichever you choose, Mayor.
Well, you've already brought it up, so let's go ahead and address it. That
Okay,
way it'll be taken
and
care of when we get here.
As we all know, in pre-council, I was given 2 more bids on excavators that I was surprised with. So I do think we need to look at them, and I agree with Mr. Little about the workshop next Tuesday about prioritizing where we go spend our money. So we will table that, but I want everybody to be aware. I mean, I know you all you read Facebook, and the ditches are a top priority, and I'm a firm believer you're only as good as the equipment you got. And, I've seen water just yesterday in which the ditches, I don't know if any of them would have held what we had yesterday, but we have got to clean them. I read on Facebook where, one guy in Bonds made the statement, he's lived there 30 years and never seen a ditch cleaned in Bonds. I can't disagree with him. But again, we need the equipment to do that. So we'll table this to the workshop Tuesday, and then we'll discuss it, and we'll figure out as a group where they feel like we need to do. Whether we need to purchase it now or put it back of the line. That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, regarding the excavator, we've been discussing that at some time, and I do think we probably need one, but perhaps when we get all the bids together, you and Jason, I think he probably uses one for work more than I would do. What's a good brand and size, what attachments. I don't know, some of them have other size buckets and things that may be,
We've already waded through most of that already, Mayor, in the bid.
Right, but those others, I think you're talking about Komatsu, you said, and a
Caterpillar.
a cat.
And that's what I'm saying. We'll take time to look at what the bid was. That's what I'm saying.
So,
But also to remind you, we're talking about budget and doing an amendment. There is $37,500 a year in that budget for new equipment, in which we purchase 0 new equipment. And all we're talking about doing is spending $650 a month, which could come up to about $7,500 a year out of that $37,000. So anyway, we'll talk about it Tuesday.
okay, thank
That's
you.
all I have, Mayor.
But I would like to say that Public Works has been trying to clean the ditches and all, and I've heard people say that they're not, but, if somebody comes around and checks, I think it's,
Well, some we can't clean because we don't have the right equipment. That's what I'm trying to
correct.
stress.
we was able to make some headway with the equipment from the county, so, need to make sure and call and thank them because they've been a big help to us on that. Okay,
That's all I got, Mayor.
thank you, Mr. Phillips. Okay, we're moving on now to number 8, item for discussion and/or consideration. A is payment of the bills.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills in the amount of $34,552.01.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Skelton and seconded by Mr. Phillips to pay the bills in the said amount. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Show that passed. B has already been, I think, are you going to make a motion to table that into an additional meeting? Because we didn't vote on the tabling of it, did we? We didn't
Do
vote
we need
table.
to table
We're
it?
not going to do anything. It's not.
I'd like to make a motion, we table it to the next council meeting.
Second.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Phillips and seconded by Mr. Little to table consider of quotes for the mini excavator and trailer until a meeting where we can look at the additional bids that came in tonight. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
It's tabled. Moving on to C. We did the same thing. We got another quote in just before the council meeting regarding exterminating services. I think in pre-council, we all agreed that that would be tabled until we could discuss that further and look over the bid that just came in.
I'll make that motion to table.
Second.
Motion made by Jason, seconded by Mr. Phillips to table that motion so we can look over all the bids. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, show that passed. Going on to number D, discuss and consider quotes for financing purchase of a new garbage truck.
I'll make a motion to extend financing with United Bank at 1.875% with the balloon note of $110,000 at the end of the 36-month term, based on our contract with the garbage truck provider.
I'll second.
Motion made by Mr. Skelton, seconded by Mr. Butler to go with United Bank for the financing of the new garbage truck. And what was that amount for, Jason, for the?
So the interest rate's 1.875.
But the loan amount was,
The full loan amount was $324,429.
okay.
Yeah, I'll look at. Well, they do it, but I mean, I'll review it.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Skelton, seconded by Mr. Butler to proceed with the financing. All those in favor signify by aye.
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 Those opposed.
Thank y'all.
All right. E, moving on, consideration of hiring Brett Long as a full-time firefighter effective August the 14th of 2021.
Make a motion, we approve.
So
Motion made by Mr. Butler and seconded by Mr. Skelton to approve the hiring of the firefighter. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Okay, let's show him. We've hired him. F, I think, Jason, you was going to address this consideration of amending the budget to reflect reimbursement received from Hurricane Sally.
yes, sir. I would ask the council to consider amending our 2021 budget based on the reimbursements that we got from Hurricane Sally, from the insurance, and from FEMA for our facilities. We had damage at the lodge. We had some damage to some restrooms. We had some fences and lights at the Wright Park baseball field. Some damage at the splash pad. One of the city signs received damage, and also the library roof. So I want to put this in form of a motion that we amend the budget showing these amounts that would go to each additional line that is in the budget. And that way we could go ahead and pay their contractors that have performed the work.
Second.
Any discussion? Motion made by Mr. Skelton, seconded by Ms. Reese to amend the budget to reflect the damages that we got reimbursement for from the hurricane. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Number 9, resolutions, ordinances, and other orders of business. Is there anything that we haven't discussed that we need to bring back up?
Well, we did, it was about moving the money from the Pet Parade fundraiser to the Bark Park, I guess, in the budget, so we can spend the money in the amount of $665. And I put that in the form of a motion. Oh,
But she did discuss it in pre-council, and there was no opposition that I know of.
You're not buying anything, you're just moving some money from one fund to another.
And it's a relatively small amount. We're talking $600.
I'll second it.
yes.
That's what she said. Motion made by Ms. Reese and seconded by Mr. Little to move the money to the Bark Park from the Halloweeny parade. I think
Pet
you call it,
parade.
Pet parade, in the amount of $665. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
And those opposed.
Tennis court.
That's not on the agenda.
Yeah, that's not on
Not
the
on the
agenda, and that
agenda.
is a big item, and I think that that would be, personally, once again, going to say that should be discussed at a workshop and/or at least more extensively in pre-council before to bring it up for a bid.
I thought we did discuss it at the workshop. And we've had it on the agenda a couple of different times. It was, the capital item, we had the gentleman from the American Tennis Courts come out. He was the same people that did for the school, and gave us the scope, and we went out for additional bids. We were going to vote on it, and then the council wanted to, get bids. So we reached out to a couple of different companies, one that was in Birmingham. They said it was too far away, so they chose not to bid. We reached out to another gentleman by the name of Barry, and he did not return a bid. And then the authorized dealer for Sportsmaster is no longer, there is no longer a local authorized dealer. So, basically, this would be like a sole source for American Tennis Courts to do the work since we had no other bids. And, we have, I guess, the first level, and then we have the right way crack repair, and that was where I talked about they would fill in the cracks and then put the membrane over the top to make sure that the cracks, I guess, were hidden and wouldn't cause a hazard. And then there were also some other things like they're going to clean and pressure wash, fill all the cracks, patch and level the roots that affect the court surface, fill and level all the low areas holding greater than an 1/8 inch of water. Install 1 coat of acrylic resurfacer. Install 2 coats of acrylic color. Install textured white playing lines. Install 2 sets of light blue pickleball playing lines using the tennis net as a pickleball net. Install 2 tennis nets and center straps. Install the crack membrane system over 892 linear feet. Adjust and reinforce the gate in the northwest corner and replace rails and hardware. Provide and install tension wire on the north and south ends of the courts to keep the ball from rolling under. Sand and paint the net posts. Provide and install tennis court score tubes. Provide and install tennis court tray and basket valet. Provide 2 courtside benches that are weatherproof that will be secured to the fence, and then a 2-year warranty on all labor and materials. And that would be, and also like a bleacher stand for outside for, I guess, people that watch. What is that called? Spectators. So that would, with a roll dry, that's to keep the court dry. $31,733. And yeah, this has been brought up a bunch. So that was right under budget.
I was unaware that it was going to be brought up tonight. You was going to ask us to spend the money. I'm sorry. So,
Can we still vote on it since we've talked about it before?
no, ma'am, I mean, I expressed the same thing to Mr. Butler, that I'd like for us to have that on the agenda. And I think, moving a few $100s or $1,000 is one thing, but spending over $30,000 is another. So I'd like to have those type items.
Is
So
this
we're all-
approved for the next agenda?
Yes, we can discuss it. We can get some financial reports for our meeting next Monday or Tuesday night, so we can know where we're at.
It's
Then
a
we can
line
put it-
item on the capital. Actually, for
So
tennis
is mine.
courts.
But like I say, we just sit here and made an agreement to have a workshop and prioritize. And
But we
that's-
already know we want that. I don't know where the 2 bogey quotes came in. That's why we're getting nothing
Saying,
done, is because nobody will vote
I
on
agree with Mr. Little.
anything.
We need to sit down next Tuesday night and prioritize all this and see where we're at. And Jason can tell us where we're at with our numbers.
We already did that, though.
Okay. You asked about putting it on the agenda for the next council meeting, and I said, sure, we can do that, if you'd like to do that.
Are we going to vote on it then? Because there's no sense in doing it if we're not going to.
If it's discussed in a workshop or at a pre-council, I haven't said we can't do any of that.
How much more do I have to discuss? Because I've already discussed it several times.
Do you see anything on the agenda that says we're going to vote on over $30,000?
When this came out, I asked Heather if we'd gotten other quotes back, and she said no. So I said, well, what happened? And then she told me about these other, the reasonings for the no bid. And so I'm presenting it to the council with what my findings are. So we can continue to wait, but I'm afraid that prices are going to keep going up, as with anything that we're going to buy. But, come October, it's too late. We won't have spent anything. So,
We've spent a lot of money this year, as you well know.
and we got
I think that
reimbursed.
Those of us that have been here and discussing these things are aware that
Well, we also don't have the proper employees in place, so I'm sure we have plenty of money from salaries and whatnot, but. All right, next meeting, look for the tennis courts on the agenda. Unless you know you don't want it, then tell me, and then that way we won't waste any more time.
Jay, regarding the next matter, the executive session, what was the final of,
Yeah, I'd like for us to go to an executive session to get an update on the generator situation. We'll need a roll call vote for that. It shouldn't last more than 15 minutes.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
we've got a motion made to go into executive session to discuss the generator at the Public Safety Building. That requires a roll call vote. Heather, would you give us a roll call on that?
Councilmember Little,
No, yes.
Councilmember Butler,
Yes.
Councilmember Skelton,
Yes.
Councilmember Reese.
Yes.
Councilmember Phillips.
Yes.
Mayor Barlow.
Yes. Please let the record reflect that it is 7:40 PM and we are going to go into executive session to discuss the said matter and that said matter only, and we will be in executive session no more than 15 minutes. We will come back and we'll adjourn this meeting. Thank all of you for coming. You're welcome to stay here, but if not, we'll be back in just a few minutes. Thank you. Heather at?
Waiting on you, princess.
Okay, the time is now 7:50 PM. We were in executive session for the set of time for approximately 10 minutes, discussing a legal matter. So with that being said, I think we've covered all the items on the agenda and the things that was up for discussion tonight. So if there's nothing else to come before the council, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Skelton, seconded by Ms. Reese to adjourn. We are adjourned.